look at First Alert Doppler right now, and you can see this is the area we're discussing right here. Let's switch modes on the radar, take a look at velocity, and see if we can see where this is spinning up. There it is. So we'll zoom down into this area. This area of rotation right now is right here, south and east of Kittrell, northwest of Lewisburg. Lewisburg, you are not under the warning. Everybody else is under this warning, especially up around Henderson. You need to be in your safe spot immediately, as this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. We've had 2 tornadoes confirmed so far with the remnants of north, and you can see it really starting to, where the green and where the burgundy are mixed right there. Let me mark it on the map for you so it's a little bit easier to see. This is the area we're talking about. This area of rotation is right through here, and that is moving up to the north and to the east, and it is headed toward Henderson. So this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado from the National Weather Service. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Kittrell or 7 miles north of Lewisburg. It is moving north at 30 miles an hour. Doppler radar indicated rotation will include possible flying debris that would be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed. There also could be damage to roofs, windows, vehicles, and tree damage is likely. And this will continue toward Henderson and be around Henderson over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Dabney, Middlesburg, South Henderson, Ingleside, and Gilbert. Again, the National Weather Service in Raleigh issuing a tornado warning now for Kittrell into Henderson, and that's pulling off to the north and to the east. Let's switch back to the radar mode and see what's going on as far as any other areas of rotation. Meteorologist Robert Johnson and I are both tracking this storm. He will be on Weather 8 over at AR if we can go to him. Robert is tracking the storm right now as well and continuing to get new information in. Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, so Don, we are talking with the National Weather Service office in Raleigh, and they are telling us this, that a likely tornado debris signature showed up. And they are telling us this, that a likely tornado debris signature showed up shortly after issuing the warning, and now that tornado warning is confirmed. So now we have a confirmed tornado, the National Weather Service is saying, because of what they're seeing on Doppler radar. That tornado warning extends through 4 o'clock. So you want to treat this as if there's a tornado, because the National Weather Service is saying it's observed. No longer just radar indicated. We now have a tornado. That's coming from the National Weather Service office in Raleigh. It's for Franklin County, Vance County, and Warren County. I want to pass that information along to you, Don. I'm going to keep tracking this on my end, too. I want to give you that update. We have an observed tornado, they're saying.
Yeah, that's good news, and that's why we have 2 meteorologists working now. One can monitor what's going on. One is getting the real-time information. We can actually switch modes on the radar. So one of the amazing things about Doppler radar, and specifically this radar, is it sends out 2 beams. It almost looks like a plus sign. One goes out this way, one goes out this way, and those different beams can differentiate between raindrops and other things. And this is looking at a product called the spectrum width. So you can see all this gray here. Once we start to see oranges and reds show up, that's the possibility of debris being lifted into the air. That's why they're saying this is a confirmed tornado via radar. So this is a confirmed tornado via radar moving to the north and east. Henderson, you need to be in your safe spot. Kittrell, it looks like it's going to go just east of you, but this is the area we're worried about. I'm going to zoom down in and start going through some storm names, and let me go back to the regular radar, the radar we're used to seeing at the moment, and get a better picture of where this is. So the rotation is down near Rocky Ford. If you live in Bobbitt, Rocky Ford Road, Vernon's Way, Gilbert Road, South Chaucer Way, Abbott Road, Bristol Meadows, Edwards Road, Hidden Lake Lane, Commerce Drive, Bear Pond is another town that's showing up near Old Country Home Road, Floyton Crossroads, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in South Henderson. You need to be in your safe spots right now. This is headed your way. Again, the National Weather Service confirming a tornado on the ground, tornado debris signature showing up in that area, pressing off to the north and to the east at 35 miles per hour. Let's put a storm track on this. And at 35 miles per hour, well, I'm going to have to zoom it out a little bit. We'll give you an idea. Let me zoom out a little bit on this, clear off that area of rotation, moving this direction at 35 miles an hour, and so that puts it on up toward Williamsboro around 414 if it were to hold together. Henderson 355, and it may be closer to 345. So in the next 8 minutes, Henderson, you need to be in your safe spot right now with this storm as it moves through. Again, Robert Johnson of the National Weather Service reporting that this is a confirmed tornado signature on the radar southeast of Kittrell moving toward Henderson. This will be an area of concern for the next 20 minutes or so. This tornado warning running until has issued a tornado warning in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So this is part of the problem with these storms. As this outer rain bands of Debbie get working through, it will trigger these little spin-ups, and all of a sudden it becomes a tornado. And this is what we're watching right now. We're just getting an update from the National Weather Service on there. So you can see it's now shifted right along US 1. It's crossing US 1 right now. Bear Pond Road, tiny Broadwick Boulevard, headed that way. Henderson, this is going to pass on the southwest side of you. Let's go back and switch our modes on the radar. So we're looking at what's called velocity. Velocity shows us the difference in winds, and that's how we see rotation with height. If we go back to our spectrum width, we're still seeing the possibility of debris. So all that gray area in there, that's just the typical radar signature we see. But when we start to see pinks and oranges and yellows, that's why the National Weather Service is confirming this is a possible tornado on the ground, because it has hit the ground. It's pulling up debris, hopefully just dirt and trees, but unfortunately it can be pieces of houses and vehicles that can be lifted into the atmosphere. The radar then hits that and shows us this tornado debris signature, this TDS, is being shown to us, and that's what we're watching right now. Robert's got more information. Let's go back over to Robert.
Yeah, I want to show you something here on Weather 8 at this computer, if you've got me.
Yeah, you're up. You're
Perfect.
up. There you go.
I'll show you this on Weather 8. So what we're looking at now is something that we like to call correlation coefficient, but basically all that means is it helps us to determine where there could be some debris. And if we back up the radar scan, notice this drop. Notice this difference in the color. That's debris being picked up from the tornado and lofting it. We're getting another box popping up here, an update for this tornado warning. That's all because of the position. We'll track it with you. And notice how we have, oh my goodness, even a larger area for that big drop off. We still have a tornado in this area. Sometimes when we get updates from the National Weather Service, they'll let us know if maybe it's radar indicated versus observed, because that changes. However, we still have an observed tornado here. There's a big drop off in this portion of our viewing area just to the south of Henderson. We still have this warning that's in place until 4 o'clock. So that is our debris that we're tracking.
Yeah, you hate to see that, Robert. I'm going to read this while you continue to zoom in on that area. Robert's able to control his radar over there, so we'll stay with him. This is the update from the National Weather Service. 3:39 now, a confirmed tornado near Kittrell or near Henderson, moving northwest now at 25, so it has slowed a little bit. This is a radar-confirmed tornado. Flying debris is going to be dangerous if you're caught without shelter. Mobile homes are going to be damaged or destroyed in these areas. Roofs, windows, and vehicles, damage can occur to all of those, and the tornado will be near Henderson in the next 4 minutes. So radar doesn't always keep up with what's actually happening in real time. We get this data from the National Weather Service. It can take a couple of minutes for the radar to catch up. So Henderson, do not go outside and look. You should be in your safe space right now. And when we say safe space, let's go through this real quick. We're talking tornado safety. We want you on the lowest part of the structure. As a matter of fact, most tornado damage occurs in the upper part of the structure. You want to stay away from the second story of any building you're in. Get to the lowest level. I know a lot of places don't have basements, but if you were to have a basement, you don't have a basement, get to the lowest level and go to an interior hallway or room or closet. The number one injury during a tornado comes from flying debris. If you have time, grab your bicycle helmet and cover your head. Make sure you have your shoes on, because after the debris comes, you're going to want to climb out. But you should be in your safe space now. Henderson, interior hallway or bathroom. Get low, cover your head, and stay there. Leave the TV up so you can hear us. We'll tell you when it's clear in your neighborhood, but do not be watching. We don't want you watching TV. We want you in that safe space right now. You need to be there. And a reminder, if you're watching online, there can be a delay of a couple of minutes online. So it may be on top of you right now in Henderson. You need to just be in your safe space right now. This is headed for a big urban area in our area. It's headed right toward Henderson. And I'm going to zoom down in on the radar. Henderson's just starting to see the leading edge of the shower and storm activity. And as far as the rotation goes, let's go back to that velocity just for a second. I want to see if we're still seeing rotation. Let me take off the rotation. That's where it was earlier. We're still seeing rotation inside this. So this has not dissipated in the past few minutes, and it's continuing to work off to the north. And Henderson, it's right on top of you right now. This data is just a few minutes old. So this is on Henderson. If you're watching right now in South Henderson, we're going to list off some of the streets. If you hear your street called, you need to be in your safe spot. King's Daughters Park area, Jackson Park, Breckenridge Street, South Chestnut Street, Parham Street, US 1 as it comes into town and it merges with State Highway 158 there, or US 158 there. You need to be in your safe spot. Bain Avenue, Willowwood Drive, South Williams Street, East Montgomery Street, Ross Mill Road. Notice I-85. This is going to cross over I-85, South Beckford Drive to Lincoln Street, Rains Drive. Even though you're not seeing anything on the radar right there, that's just a dropout in data. North Henderson, North Chestnut Street, Eaton Johnston Park. North Henderson Park. You all need to be in your safe spots. This is a radar-confirmed tornado. It is headed toward Henderson. You need to be in your safe spot now as this works through. I want to zoom it out real quick. We're going to make sure we're not seeing any other rotation anywhere else around the area. And it looks like the other rain bands are free right now of any rotation, at least at this point. But we continue. We're waiting on an update in the data from the National Weather Service. Ooh, Robert, yeah, you can see that. Let's go back to Robert on Weather 3. You can really see that tornado signature showing up now east of Kittrell as it's lofting the debris into the air. Robert?
Yeah, I got you. I'll show it to you right here. This is the debris signature that we see just to the east of Highway 1, well south of Henderson. And this is a little bit delayed, but now we know for sure over the past 5 minutes or so that we have an observed tornado. It is confirmed. It is lofting debris up into the air. And I'm checking out information from the National Weather Service chat room, and someone is saying in here that there is confirmed storm damage. Not surprising when you see this sort of a signature, something that you hate to see when we are trying to track these tornado-warned storms as all this continues to move to the north. There's a couple modes on the radar that we can show you, and one mode that you've been seeing earlier today is velocity. There's another one called storm relative mean velocity, and all that really means is it helps to give us a better indication of where rotation is as a storm is moving. So we are still seeing an area of rotation just south of Henderson. We'll slide it back a little bit so you can see how it was really close together near Highway 401. And now we have another update. You see that blinking box coming in, that blinking pink box that lets us know there's an update coming in from the National Weather Service. Tornado warning still in place until 4 o'clock. Now it's only for Vance County. It no longer includes Franklin County or anywhere else. Now the tornado warning just in place for Vance County, and there's that area of rotation. We'll continue to track it for you as we continue to slide this radar scan, this velocity scan forward in time. And you can see how the rotation is not quite as tightly packed together, but we don't want to let our guard down. Sometimes the scans can be a little bit weaker and then tighten right back up again. So this tornado warned storm is just near Henderson, if not over Henderson right now. So we'll continue to track this, and we'll get the latest update in from the National Weather Service. And this storm continues to move to the north at approximately 30 miles per hour. So let's put a track on this for you so that way you are well aware of when this system could be in your neighborhood. So we'll back up the radar scan, show it moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour. Again, the warning goes until 4 o'clock. So for South Henderson, 347, and the current time now is 347, so you should already be in your safe place. Henderson, 349, Williamsboro, 404. Again, that's if this holds together. The warning is in place until the top of the hour. Townsville, 413, Clarksville, 433, and that's far out. So where do you go for a system like this when there is a tornado warning? And we always like to tell this to you, whether you are in that region or not, it's still important for you to know where to go. So here's a good reminder for some tornado safety tips. So the most damage occurs on the top floor. You want to stay away from there. So stay away from the second story. Try to get to the bottom of as low as you can, whether it be in a bathroom or a basement. If you have a basement, that's a great place to be. Avoid all windows and doors. Lowest floor underground is best. And if you can, get low, cover your head. If you have a bike helmet, that's great to have on. Grab some shoes if you have time. Do so quickly but calmly. Grab some shoes, put them on your feet, get to your safe place. And again, avoid all windows and doors. Don't try to stand outside and look for the tornado. Get to your safe place immediately. We'll go back to First Alert Doppler Net, where we continue to track these showers and storms rolling through the region. And Don and I are both tracking this as well. First Alert Doppler Net coming back up. And Don, you must be seeing something on your end.
Well, we're just getting information in from the Franklin County Emergency Manager of storm damage. And we'll zoom down into that area. We have confirmed storm damage, and this is showing up according to Franklin County EMA. This is showing up on 1400 block. The 1400 block of Rocky Ford Road. That's that's between Ingleside, basically, and Henderson. So that's as you go out of Lewisburg toward Henderson, 1400 block of Rocky Ford Road. There's debris, power lines down, limbs, but confirmed storm damage from this tornado as it worked through. So that's where it is. That's where the damage is, northwest of Ingleside there. Let's zoom back out, and we'll take a look at this storm, and we'll switch modes on the radar, get a better look at the velocity. It has weakened significantly. The rotation, though, is still working through Watkins, Dabney, Henderson. The heart of this rotation is down to the south and to the west of Henderson. Let me back this up a little bit. We can kind of show you the rotation working through. There's where it was when the heart of it was hitting right near Lewisburg, and we saw that tornado debris. We're looking at the green area, by the way. If you're looking at the screen right now, if you can you come out to me on weather 8 or on camera 8? I'll show this exactly where the debris is. And it's right here. This is Kittrell. This is where the debris was. This is where the rotation was as it works through. So we're going to step this through. We're going to walk it through, and you can see the rotation sliding up the north through Kittrell. There's Henderson. And then we don't see as much green in the picture. That means it's weakening. There's still rotation there. This is still possibly a tornado here, but it has weakened. We're not seeing the high contrast between the green and burgundy that we saw as this worked through Lewisburg. Again, it's also moving away from the radar a little bit, but that shows us where that possible rotation is. I'm going to switch modes on the radar because we want to see again if we're seeing any more debris start to be lofted into the atmosphere. And this is the area we're talking about right through here. We're seeing the yellows. This is the differential or spectrum width, excuse me. This shows us if there's any debris kind of flying around in the atmosphere. Robert was using differential reflectivity. It's not as bright through there, so that's good news. And let me look at the correlation coefficient. I'm sorry, that's what Robert was using. Yeah, right through here. This is where the debris would be embedded in this part of the storm. And so as that tornado works through and it touches down, it'll grab hold of the dirt and trees and branches and houses and things like that. It will grab it, it will loft it into the atmosphere. The radar beam's still going out, hitting the raindrops. And so it thinks this is raindrops, but it paints it a different color because it's going, wait a second, that's not shaped like a raindrop. And that's why this data is so important to us. And this is why dual pole radars are so amazing. We've got a network of 3 of them that we're using right now to see this debris. And dual pole radar doesn't just show us where the raindrops are, it can show us the type of debris in the atmosphere. Let's see if we've got an updated version of this. Okay, we don't have, but this is the latest update we have. I'm going to switch back to reflectivity. You can see the east side of Henderson, you're clear right now. The west side of Henderson, unfortunately, you're still seeing the debris. And let me just check, make sure there's not an update. They've also just issued a flood warning for Alamance County, North Carolina. That is a flood warning. We still have flash flood warnings in effect if you're just joining us. So let's reset this right now. Real quick, we'll reset. We'll show you everything we're watching at the moment. Let me zoom back out on the radar. We're seeing the outer rain bands. Right now it's 3:51. We're seeing the outer rain bands of Debbie work their way through. Inside these rain bands, the wind can get spinning and it can spin up these tornadoes quickly. And that's why the tornado watch remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. And that's what we're watching right now. We're watching the situation. We've got that tornado warning up to the north. Let me go back to it and I'll put the box on and you can actually see where this tornado warning is. It's loading. You can see the pink area right here, although Kittrell, you're pretty much in the clear now. Now we're just talking Henderson, Vance County, west of Henderson, this area right here. That's the area that you need to be in your safe spot. Do not be watching TV. Don't go out and take pictures. Once it's safe to do so, you can always send those pictures to us. After it's happened, of anything you see out there, we don't want you taking them as the storm works through. We want you in your safe space. this is not something we like. We don't like to be on TV for these things, but we have to be on TV for these things to keep you informed, to keep you safe. And we're on right now because of this active tornado warning going on from Watkins to Henderson. This area right here is under that active tornado warning that runs for another 8 minutes or so. And should this rotation continue, they'll extend it past 4 o'clock. But right now, it looks like it's going to end right around 4 o'clock. Robert, what are you seeing over there?
Something that I'm seeing over here on my view, Don, and I'm on Weather 8 here at the AR monitor. So we still have that tornado warning in place until 4 o'clock for Vance County. But as I switch modes on the radar, of course, this is the regular version you're used to seeing. But as I switch modes here, I'm not noticing quite as much in the way of a really strong area of rotation. The warning is still in place. You showed that to us earlier. But notice, as we look just to the southwest, you see that area of rotation, the reds and the greens really tightly packed close together. But as I pivot this forward, you don't see that quite as much. That doesn't mean get out of your safe place, but we are seeing some broad areas of rotation. It's just not quite as strong as what we saw earlier. I'll switch the mode yet again to try to find our debris. I'll back it up. And notice earlier in the frame, we had some debris earlier, and this was at 3:31. Now the time is 3:53. We'll continue this track to the north, and we see an even bigger debris ball just south of Henderson. And as we advance this clock to the north, we're not seeing quite as much in the way of debris. I'll take you back to the regular image, though, of First Alert DopplerNet, because now we have another update coming in from the National Weather Service on this tornado-warned storm. And they are updating the position of the warning. So notice how part of Vance County is no longer in the warning, the southernmost portion. That's because the storm has shifted to the north, so the area of concern has shifted to the north. And since it has moved, we'll give you another update on where that area of rotation is. And again, not quite as strong. It's much more broad, which is a good indication. Again, it doesn't mean get out of your safe place, but still, it's important to know that we're not seeing the same level of intense rotation that we were seeing earlier. Now it's much more broad and in and around the Henderson area, well to the south of Middleburg, and especially so for Henderson, west of Henderson. That's where we're seeing some areas of rotation. But the good news is the rotation is not quite as strong. However, don't get out of your safe place. Still stay in your safe place until the warning is officially expired. And we still have that warning until 4 o'clock. Now it's 3:55, so we still have that warning for about another 5 minutes, and we'll see if the National Weather Service decides to expire it at 4 at the top of the hour or extend it if we start to see some rotation tighten up, Don.
Yeah, that's good news to see that really kind of backing off a little bit because this is headed toward, it's in Granville County right now, headed toward Vance, we'll continue to, it's in Vance, headed toward Granville County right now. So eastern Granville County from Oxford up to Williamsboro. Even though you're not in the warning, you certainly could see strong winds, heavy rain with this. Gusty winds are possible really throughout the day. Let's show you all the other warnings we have to deal with. We've got a flash flood warning now, still in effect for about the next 5 minutes as well. This is also set to expire. That flash flood warning really through Wilson down into Goldsboro. Actually, that's a new one. We'll take a look at that. But the one from Wilson to Lewisburg to Roxborough and on over, this is all a flash flood warning that will expire at 4 o'clock. This will actually go past it. So Wilson, eastern Johnston County, and the eastern tip of Wake County, that's a brand new flash flood warning. Let me see if I can get to that, just give you an update real quick. And it is not updating at the moment, so we'll check on that flood warning. We'll give you an update coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We have a flood watch in effect for the entire viewing area. Whole viewing area is green. That just means the potential is still there to see flooding through tomorrow. Unfortunately, any of these bands that work through could put out some very heavy rainfall. Each one of these little green boxes right here, this is a river flood warning. This is a new one being issued through Alamance County. So that's a brand new river flood warning to watch out up through Alamance County. But all of these are river flood warnings. Those could go all the way into Sunday. So we will be keeping an eye on that. And then, of course, we have the tornado watch in effect. Anywhere in this area still could see a tornado spin up. And this is why you can't let your guard down, why we're on guard, why we're staying on guard. And while we're staying on TV, well, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll reset for our 4 o'clock news. And Robert, you got more information?
Yeah, more information about that flash flood warning that has just been issued for you. And here we are with it. That flash flood warning in effect until 5:45. It includes the northeasternmost portion of Wake County, extends through Johnston County, includes Wayne County and Wilson County. Goldsboro is included in this. This also includes Wilson. Smithfield not in that flash flood warning, but no, I know this map is a little messy here. We're all getting the information in just now, but a flash flood warning now in effect until 5:45 for the northeasternmost portion of Wake County, including Johnston County, stretching through Wilson County, and including most of Wayne County, and that does include Goldsboro. While we're on this image, something that we want to do is go back to another mode of First Alert Doppler Net, and we'll show that to you here. And of course, this is the focus until the top of the hour. The time now is 3:58, so we've got a couple more minutes with this warning in place, and we'll see if the National Weather Service decides to extend it or allow it to expire. So we'll go back to our velocity scan, and you've been getting a lot of used to this by watching our station, by tracking several warnings earlier today, and not noticing nearly as much of a rotation with this. Remember, earlier we were seeing certainly lots of broad rotation. We'll back that up, and you can see it there very clearly. Just well to the south of Henderson. And then as we advance this clock forward, you're not seeing nearly as much of those greens and reds close together. That's what indicates the area of rotation. While we're on this scan, let me check one more scan for you, so that way we can check out a different mode in our radar, another rotation image. And yeah, we're seeing some broad areas of rotation in and around Henderson. Nothing really strong at this point. Another thing we'll check out for you is what we've called our correlation coefficient, our debris ball signature. And we were seeing a lot of debris being lofted into the air well to the south of Henderson. Now we're not seeing that same sort of a signature, so that is some really Don, to see if this warning will be extended.
It doesn't look like they're going to extend it right now. That area of rotation has weakened, so it looks like it will be allowed to expire in the next 30 seconds or so. We'll see several flash flood warnings being allowed to expire too, as we continue to see the severe weather move through. But the threat is not over. The tornado watch continues until 8 o'clock tonight. So really, for the next 4 hours, in any of these outer rain bands, you could see a tornado spin up, and that's what we've been on guard and watching for all afternoon. As soon as this one spun up, we were on the air with it, and we will be watching for any more that start to fire. As we approach 4 o'clock right now, we are seeing that being allowed to expire. We no longer have a tornado warning up in Vance County. We are just about set to start the 4 o'clock show with all the day's headlines. There's so much going on across the region, and we will get to that coming up for you in just a couple of minutes. But again, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. That is good news for all those folks. Bad news is there's still more bands of rain out there, and we still continue to see a few flood warnings, flash flood warnings, and a flood watch in effect until tomorrow night. Producer, do you want to send it over to news to start the 4 o'clock? All right, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll start the 4 o'clock news right now.